गुड मॉर्निंग स्टुडंट्स. या मागच्या लेक्चरमध्ये आपण आपलं दुसरं चॅप्टर एंड केलं होतं. आज आपल्याला पुढचं चॅप्टर बघायचं आहे, जे आहे चॅप्टर नंबर 5, ग्रॅव्हिटेशन. ओके, आणि या ग्रॅव्हिटेशनच्या अंतर्गत आपल्याला एक टॉपिक बघायचा आहे, तो आहे केप्लर्स लॉज ऑफ प्लॅनेटरी मोशन. तर ग्रॅव्हिटेशन म्हणजे काय असते? व्हॉट इज ग्रॅव्हिटेशन? वी आर फॅमिलियर विथ द वर्ड ग्रॅव्हिटेशन. कोणती वस्तू आपण जर वर फेकली तर ती वस्तू अर्थकडे परत येते. इट इज ड्यू टू द ग्रॅव्हिटेशन अट्रॅक्शन एक्झर्टेड बाय द अर्थ ऑन द ऑब्जेक्ट. कोणतीही वस्तू जर आपण वर थ्रो केली तर ती वस्तू खाली येणारच आहे, ड्यू टू द अट्रॅक्शन, ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल अट्रॅक्शन. याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला सर्वात आधी बघायचं आहे की केप्लरचे लॉज आहेत, ते लॉ आपल्याला काय सांगतात, किंवा अकॉर्डिंग टू केप्लर्स लॉ how the planets are revolving around the sun. Okay, so today we are going to discuss the Kepler's three laws of planetary motion, and we discuss it in the according with the gravitation. Okay, so what is the Kepler's law of planetary motion? The first law, it states that all the planets revolve around the sun in the elliptical orbits. Okay, so consider that there is an elliptical path like this. Consider all the planets, or according to the Kepler's law, Kepler states that all the planets revolve around the sun in the elliptical orbit, and sun is situated at one of its foci. What is foci? Foci means center. As we see, जसं आपल्याला माहिती आहे की सर्कल असेल तर सर्कलला एकच सेंटर राहतो, परंतु जर इलिप्स आहे, इलिप्टिकल शेप आहे, त्या इलिप्टिकल शेपला दोन सेंटर राहतात, त्याला आपण फोकस असं म्हणतो. तर अकॉर्डिंग टू न्यूटन, अकॉर्डिंग टू केपलर, केपलरच्या म्हणण्यानुसार कोणताही प्लॅनेट असेल तर तो प्लॅनेट सन वरती इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट मध्ये फिरतो, आणि हा जो सन आहे, दिस सन इज सिच्युएटेड ॲट वन ऑफ इट्स फोकस. कोणत्या तरी एका फोकसवर त्याचं सिच्युएशन राहते. दिस इज कॉल्ड द फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ केपलर, or it is also called as the law of orbit. Okay, according to the law of orbit, each and every planet revolve around the sun in the elliptical orbit, and the sun is situated at one of its foci. Okay, this is the first law. It is called as the law of orbit. What is the second law? The second law states that a radius vector drawn from sun to planet. A radius vector drawn from sun to planet sweep out equal area in equal interval of time. याचा अर्थ असा आहे की एका पर्टिक्युलर वेळेमध्ये हा जो रेडियस वेक्टर आपण ड्रॉ केला आहे, इट कव्हर्स इक्वल एरिया इन इक्वल इंटरवल ऑफ टाइम. फॉर एक्झाम्पल बघा की अशा प्रकारचा एक इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट आहे, त्या इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट मध्ये एखादा प्लॅनेट फिरून राहिलेला आहे. सन इज सिच्युएटेड ॲट वन ऑफ इट्स फोकाय. फॉर एक्झाम्पल हा प्लॅनेट या ठिकाणी आहे, ओके. तर हा एरिया आहे. समजा हा एरिया कव्हर करायला टी इतका टाइम लागलेला आहे, तेव्हा टी इतक्या वेळेमध्ये इथं त्यांनी इतका एरिया कव्हर केलेला आहे इन द सेम टाइम टी, तेव्हा हा जो बी आणि बी डॅश आहे, इट्स इक्वल टू ए अँड ए डॅश. द एरिया स्वेप्ट आउट इन अ सेम टाइम विल बी इक्वल. हा एरिया असेल किंवा हा एरिया असेल, दोन्ही एरिया जे आहेत ते एरिया कसे राहतात, सेम राहतात. A radius vector drawn from sun to the planet sweep out equal area in equal interval of time. Okay, it is called as the second law of the planet, or it is also called as the aerial velocity, law of the aerial velocity. It states that this delta A divided by delta T, aerial velocity, is equal to constant. How it is remains constant? Consider that this is a radius vector, so we can write here vector r, and actually this part is not a curved path, but it is considered as a plane path, and the distance is equal to x, or we consider this is the delta x, which is covered in a small interval of time. एका छोट्या इंटरवल मध्ये डेल्टा x इतका डिस्टन्स त्यांनी कव्हर केला आहे. तसं आपल्याला दिसून येते की या ठिकाणी हा जो एस ए ए डॅश आहे, एस ए ए डॅश आहे, हा एक ट्रायंगल आहे. इट इज अ ट्रायंगल, आणि हा ट्रायंगल आहे. ट्रायंगलचा एरिया कसा काढायचा? वी नो दॅट द एरिया ऑफ ट्रायंगल इज इक्वल टू काय असते? इट इज 1/2 बेस मल्टिप्लाइड बाय हाइट. त्या ठिकाणी हा जो बेस आहे, दिस बेस इज इक्वल टू वेक्टर आर, आणि याचा जो एरिया आहे किंवा हाइट आहे, ती हाइट आहे डेल्टा. सो व्हाट इज द एरिया? Delta A is equal to, it is equal to 1/2 vector r multiplied by this dx, the path covered by this planet from A to A dash within the time t. So consider that this planet is moving with a velocity v. This planet is moving with a velocity v, and in time delta t, in time delta t, it covers a distance equal to delta x. Why? We know that what is distance equal to? Distance equal to, it is velocity multiplied by time. It is velocity multiplied by time. Okay, so it is velocity multiplied by time, so we can write here it is 1/2 this vector r cross, we can write here v. Okay, v into delta t. So we can write here therefore delta A divided by delta t, which is nothing but the aerial velocity, area covered with respect to time, which is equal to 1/2 vector r cross vector v. But we also know that p is equal to mv, that is vector p is equal to mass multiplied by velocity. It is called the linear momentum. This is the linear momentum of the planet. So here we can write vector v is equal to vector p divided by m is the mass. So we can write here it's 1/2 r cross vector p by m, or we can write here is 1/2 m vector r cross vector p. But what is vector r cross vector p? It is nothing but the angular momentum. It is the angular momentum of the planet which is revolving in the elliptical orbit. So we can write here is L divided by twice m. So what is the aerial velocity? Delta A by delta t, which is equal to L divided by 2m, where this L is the angular momentum of the satellite and is twice m, or m is the mass of the satellite, which remains constant during this motion. During this motion, this angular momentum of the planet and the mass of the planet remains constant. Therefore we can say that this aerial velocity also remains constant. Okay, this aerial velocity remains constant. So this is the second law, which is called as the law of aerial velocity, in which Kepler stated that the area swept out in equal interval of time will be equal. Okay, there will the equal area stripped out in equal interval of time. This is the second law. And what is the third law? What is the third law? Kepler stated the relation between the radius vector and the time required to complete one revolution. Okay, suppose this is the elliptical orbit in which there will be a semi-major axis and there will be a semi-minor axis. The semi-major axis having length A and the semi-major axis having length B. Okay, and suppose the sun is situated here. Okay, so what is the time required to complete one rotation? It is nothing but the time period of the satellite, capital T. And according to the Kepler stated that the square of the time period is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. This is the third law stated by Kepler as concerned with the planets. It states that the square of the time period. What is time period? The time required to complete one rotation. What is one rotation? If the planet is started from this position, then the time required to cover all this distance and come back to this original point, this time is called as the time period of the planet, and the square of this time period is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. What is semi-major axis? It is the major axis or the longest axis in the ellipse. Okay, so this is the third law of the Kepler, which states that this t square upon a cube is equal to constant. This t square upon a cube is equal to constant, and a table is given in our book in which we see the t square upon r cube or t square upon a cube having the same value, almost constant. It is equal to 3, 2.95, 2.99, 2.98. So always there will be a relation between the square of the time period and the cube of the semi-major axis. So today we discuss the Kepler's laws of planetary motion. There are three laws. First law is the law of orbit. Second law is the law of aerial velocity, and the third law is the law of the time period. Okay, so this is enough for today. Have a good day. Bye.